And here I am.
All right, let's go ahead and get started, everyone. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Paul Cruson, and I'm an occupational therapist. For the last 13 years, I've been rehabbing injured workers. And before my patients would go back to work, I'd show them a few things so they wouldn't hurt themselves again. Well, 9 times out of 10, my patient would look me in the eye and say, "Paul, I wish someone would have told me this before I got hurt." Well, that's the purpose of today, to share some things with you so we don't get hurt. How many of you know that doctors are expensive? Yeah, okay. Doctors, nurses, therapists, x-rays, MRIs, CAT scans, hospitals, surgeries, medications, those are all very expensive. What you may not know is it's actually a fraction of the total cost of a work-related injury or a workers' compensation claim. Did you know that one shoulder injury costs our company $82,000 on average? That's not worst case scenario. One average shoulder injury, $82,000. One average back injury, $88,000. So it's very expensive. In today's economy, many businesses would be pleased to operate on a 10% profit margin. So if we're operating on a 10% profit margin and we have one back injury, we have to sell $880,000 in product to pay for that one back injury. So let me ask you a question. Tim, if you went home and you called up our company and said, yeah, I want to place an order for $880,000 in product, do you think you'd be important to the company?
I think I'll get a discount.
That's right, you get a discount. I bet you get a Christmas card too. So my point is, if you can prevent one of these injuries, you're just as valuable to our company as that big client. Now we're at a unique point in our country's history where ergonomics and exercise of is great importance. We have our aging workforce, the obesity epidemic, and the skyrocketing cost of medicine is significant obstacles for us to overcome. Did you know in 1972, the average worker in our country was 28 years old? Jack, how old do you think the average worker is right now?
I have no idea.
Anyone want to guess?
55.
55, close. 46. So we went from a 28-year-old to a 46-year-old. Does anyone know there's a difference between a 28-year-old and a 46-year-old? If you don't, just hang around, you'll figure it out someday. And it's also projected that in 2014, 1/3 of our workforce will be over the age of 50. So as we grow older, as our aging workforce, we become more vulnerable to injury. And when we do get hurt, it takes us longer to recover. And many times we don't completely recover. Now there's also the skyrocketing cost of medicine. Every year, since I've been out of school for 13 years, I've seen the cost of medicine increase greatly every year. Either my benefits have gone down, or my premiums have gone up, or both. This last year, my family saw an increase of 28% in our health insurance premiums. We have to take better care of ourselves. Has anyone ever heard of the obesity epidemic? Okay, the CDC's been studying this since 1985. In 1985, the average, there was less than 10% of our population was obese. In 2009, about 30% of our population is obese. And it's projected that in 2015, 41% is obese. Now, why people say, well, Paul, why do you say that? Well, the reason is Duke did a study in 2007 that said an obese worker is twice as likely to get hurt at work, has 7 times the medical cost, and has 13 times more lost work days. When we become obese, we develop a risk for many other medical factors, and those medical factors put us at increased risk for injury. So you can see, we have our aging workforce, we have the obesity epidemic, and we have the skyrocketing cost of medicine. So we have to work smarter, we have to have good ergonomics, we have to exercise, we have to take better care of ourselves. For the last 13 years, I've seen countless jobs leave our country. If we want to keep the jobs we have, we're going to have to do better. Now, OSHA says there's 6 things we can do to prevent injuries at work. And they say the first one is employee participation. They say if you don't get the first one, then the other 5 won't work. And so that's what I'm here to ask you right now, is would you be willing to participate in an ergonomics and exercise program? Because if so, we can go forward and be successful.